looking at tokens and coins and the distributed ledger, it's in a funny way makes me go back to the way FDR used the role of government. And people mistakenly think that it's about a government program to people, but actually it was the realization that you had to make unions strong and vital, and that it was a 3-lane highway. The unions had to have the middle lane. Corporations could not create impact investment, social, wonderful company unions. They were not allowed to form unions. And the government had to keep unions independent. So it's not like in the former Soviet Union, our unions are not controlled by government. And he did that through regulation and the tax code and all sorts of things. And I think when we look at these new tools, we need to start to think the way FDR did. The New Deal is almost 100 years old. It's not literally going to be the New Deal, but it is going to be the metaphor of the New Deal.
A precursor to the New Deal, the time when a lot of those demands were developed was in that populist movement of the late 19th century, which was, an incredibly mutualist time, and a convergence, an alliance of unions and co-ops, that saw their goals as unified. And in that time, they were very concerned about money. It was a time in our history where Americans recognized that money was political and that you had to struggle over it, and that you had to fight, especially for people who were on the fringes of society, had to fight for access to control over that money supply. Second, one thing that was so important to the organizers of that populist movement was, what you said, which is that democratic control. They saw, William Jennings Bryan trying to come in and co-opt their movement for the Democratic Party, and they wanted to. They saw the danger of authoritarianism, of demagoguery, when you had a bunch of angry poor people. And they very explicitly had a strategy, which was that through means of economic self-help and self-organization and self-governance, that was the antidote to demagoguery. That people would, the only way to keep angry people to turning to a savior figure is to build a movement on the basis of shared power and of daily experiences of self-governance.